welcome back to Heckscher at Home, the Kids Edition. We took a little bit of a break and I'm very excited to get back showing you guys more works of art from our current exhibitions and getting creative at home. So today I have a very special work of art that I'm going to be showing you guys and we're going to get inspired together. Let's get started. For this week's Heckscher at Home, the Kids Edition, we're going to be looking at Christa Maiwald and her work Migration. Christa is one of the exhibiting artists in this year's Long Island Biennial. We had 841 artists apply from all across Long Island to be in this year's exhibition, but only 100 pieces were selected by our 3 judges. Christa created a phenomenal mixed media piece where she embroidered onto a canvas and then had a 3D element using handmade soaps. Now we're going to take a closer look at Christa's work and see all the little details we can find out about it. The first thing I want us to do is to think about how Christa titled her piece. The title of her work is Migration. So migration, if you didn't know, means traveling from one place to another. And what we're going to try to think about as we're looking at her work today is why she would have decided to title her piece that and what it might have to do with what we're seeing on her canvas. Now that we've thought about her title a little bit, let's actually look at her work of art. So the first thing that you'll notice is that it's so much fun. Right off the bat, what catches your attention first as you're looking at this? So you'll notice we see a lot of objects floating down the dessert river from top to bottom. Do these desserts look like your regular old pastries that you might see at your local bakery? I don't think so. I've never seen a slice of cake do that before. So as we're looking at this, you'll notice that these objects seem to be behaving more like boats than just your normal desserts that you might have lying around at home. Christa uses movement with her boats or her slices of cake to help guide our eyes from the top of the canvas all the way down to the bottom. So we're never focusing on just one part, but we're able to take in all of the details that she's including in her work of art. So at first when you're looking at this, it might look like this is drawn or maybe using some kind of traditional material, but Christa actually hand embroidered her entire work of art. And so let's zoom in a little bit closer now to see how she actually did this. So now that we're looking at this zoomed in, we can definitely see the areas where she has the thread coming in and out of the canvas. Not only do we have her embroidered 2D part, but Christa also made her 3D handmade soaps. So we have something that's 3D, whereas you can walk around and see it from all different angles, and as well as something that's 2D, which is hanging up flat on the wall. The area around the cakes is empty, and another word for that is negative space. This helps to emphasize the cakes floating down the river, and it always guides our eye back to that central focus area. Christa also uses vibrant colors to add to this effect as well. What shapes do you guys see repeated over and over again? Christa uses her imagination to the fullest and takes something ordinary like a slice of cake and has turned it into something completely different. Using Christa's Migration as our inspiration today, we're going to do the same thing as her and think of our all-time favorite desserts and turning them into something completely brand new. So the first thing that I'm gonna do for my project is I wanna brainstorm some different ideas of what I could draw. Thinking of Christa's work, she used desserts and turned them into boats. So when you think of a boat and you simplify it, it kind of reminds you of a triangle. And what shape is a slice of cake? It's also a triangle. So for our projects, let's think of a simple shape and then make that into your favorite dessert and have it act like a different object. So now what I need to do is think about what kind of things are shaped like a circle, just like a donut is, and then I'm going to get really creative and make a drawing where my donut looks like that object. Not that. Oh, I got it. So I'm gonna use a circle and I'm gonna be making a Ferris wheel. And you know what I'm gonna make it out of? My donut. So the first thing that I'm gonna have to do is sketch out my design and then we'll get into coloring. So for today's project, we're keeping our materials pretty simple, and I'm going to introduce you guys to the things that we'll be needing to create today's project. The first thing you'll need is a piece of white paper. Next up, you're going to be needing a ruler to get some crisp, neat lines, a pencil to start with before we go ahead and color, an eraser in case we make any mistakes, your choice of coloring material, so that can mean markers, colored pencils, or if you happen to prefer crayons, you can do that as well. And if you feel like it, you definitely can experiment and use a mix of any of those colored materials as well. The last thing that you might need is a Sharpie to outline anything that you want to stand out at the very end for your details. So our optional material on today's list of things that we'll be using is Play-Doh. So you have a couple options here. You can use Play-Doh, like I mentioned, Model Magic, which is from Crayola, or any type of clay material that you might have lying around at home. And so for Christa, she not only makes her hand embroidered pieces, but she also makes soaps, which are a 3D object that goes along with her 2D embroidery. So it'd be really fun if you were able to experiment and do something similar like Christa did and create your own 3D piece to go along with your drawing. Today, I have Model Magic that I'll be using to create a 3D part of my project. So these are the ones that I have with me today. They're all in different colors, and I'll be mixing and matching them to create my very own dessert. And you guys can do the same as you follow along. The first thing that I need to do is draw a circle in the middle of my page. And I definitely want my circle to be a little bit more on the perfect side. So I looked around to find a can to fit my needs. So I found this empty coffee can right here, and I'm gonna use it to stencil on my circle. So now that I have my big circle outlined, I'm gonna need a smaller circle for the inside of my donut. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw that now. My favorite kind of donut is a frosted one. So I'm gonna go ahead and decorate the front so it looks really fun and matches what I like to eat. And then I'm gonna repeat that same squiggly shape on the bottom. So for the next part of my Ferris wheel, now that I have the donut already done, I need to create the different lines where the carriages for the Ferris wheel are going to be. So I'm going to be using my ruler to make some nice straight lines. Now that I have all of my lines, I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing in the cars that are gonna get attached to the ends of these. Okay, so I'm all done making my sketch, and now I'm gonna move on to my favorite part, which is coloring the entire thing in. Today, I'm personally gonna decide to do colored pencils, but of course you guys can use markers or crayons or even a mix of all three, whatever you have around at your house. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with coloring, and then you guys will see what it looks like at the very end. All right, guys, so now that we're all done and our 2D part of our project is all finished, you can stop there, or you can continue on to adding a 3D part of our final project and making something out of either Play-Doh, Model Magic, or whatever kind of clay you might have laying around at home. So I decided to make my donut, and I happened to use white Model Magic, and then I went back in with some paint to add all of the different colors. But you can also, if you happen to have colored clay at home, you are more than welcome to just use that, and you don't have to paint this. So I made my donut first of all, And then I also decided to make a little cake inspired, of course, by Christa's work. And then just a few other pastries for inspiration as well. So these are all of my tiny desserts, and I'll show you guys what this looks like with the final project as well. Hi guys! So this is my finished project, and the last final touch that I have are my mini tiny desserts that we'll be putting right in front, just like Christa did. That is our final donut Ferris wheel. I hope you guys enjoyed following along with me on this project. If you decide to create one on your own as well, I would love to see your unique creations. So definitely tag us on our social media, and please subscribe and like to this channel as well for more content. Bye, have a great day. See you guys next time.